Let's go back to Judge Tracy Soderstrom. If you have caught my previous two videos and you know who she is, if you don't, let me give you a little bit of backstory here. She is a district court judge out of Oklahoma. She's the one that you may have heard about in the news that during a murder trial, she sent over 500 text messages. Now, this was a murder trial. Most of these text messages went to her bailiff. They were mostly inappropriate comments that talked about witnesses, talked about the attorneys on the defense side and on the prosecution. But let me give you a little bit of background in terms of what some of these conversations were. And then we're going to actually go to the YouTube channel for the paper that was covering this and look at some of the comments so that we can review the comments and maybe understand a little bit better why this is so important that she was doing this. So here are some of the conversations that took place between Judge Tracy Soderstrom, and she actually has a website because she was elected last year, soderstromforjudge.com, where it says she's a small business owner and a veteran. But here are some of the conversations that went back and forth between her and this bailiff. So here's one of the ones that had to do with her, the comments about the attorney. He's gross and a horrible speaker. He's an arrogant a-hole. Now, don't forget that she's the judge. And so all of the not just verbal conversations that she's having with the attorneys that the jury gets to hear, that's not the only thing that matters. It's also the nonverbal. So if she's feeling a certain kind of way about an attorney, it may be something that the jury picks up on. But in any case, these comments are truly inappropriate. So he's gross and horrible speaker. He's an arrogant a-hole. Here was one I think that stood out to people because it got into the appearance of the attorney. Why does he have baby hands? They are so weird looking. I was told they were tiny. Conversation about another attorney. She's awesome. She's so smart. Can I clap for her? He looks constipated. Okay, now at this point, again, more conversation back and forth. He's pretty. That's a wig. Look at that hairline. I think that was one of the conversations that they were having about one of the witnesses. And then another, is she blinking uncontrollably? And these sorts of conversations went on and on. There was a comment about a person's teeth and just totally inappropriate. But there is a complaint that's out there about her. And this particular conversation that went on with the trial, the 500 texts, that's only one portion of the complaint. The complaint also talks about a number of other things that went on that were inappropriate. And I think some people are asking that she be removed or censured or reprimanded. We shall see. But let's jump over to, I want to show you the county's website first. So this is the website for the county, and this is where she's a judge. This is Lincoln County, Oklahoma, Oklahoma State Courts and Network. And so you can see her down here at the bottom, Lincoln County Courthouse, Chandler, Oklahoma, and she's in Judicial District 3. And as I said before, I think she was elected last year. So I don't even think she's been up here that long. But let's head over to this YouTube channel, and I want to show you this information here that was provided. And then we're actually going to take a look at the comments. So it says here, the Oklahoma Council on Judicial Complaints has been provided the trial video by the sheriff. Now, as you can see in this picture, you can see her. This is the judge right here. This is her with the cell phone in her hand. And, you know, in some courtrooms, they don't even allow you to bring cell phones. They will allow attorneys, but they don't necessarily allow other visitors that may be in the courtroom. So this video was posted in July. It's gotten over 60,000 views, which in YouTube world is probably not that many, but still. In footage obtained by the Oklahoman, Lincoln County District Judge Tracy Soderstrom got out her phone to send text messages and scroll Facebook during a murder trial involving the fatal beating of a 2-year-old boy. Like I said, remember, this was a murder trial. On trial was Christian Tyler Martzel, then the boyfriend of the boy's mother, Judith Danker. She pled guilty to enabling child abuse under a plea deal in 2019 and testified against Martzel during the trial, which concluded with a second-degree manslaughter conviction for him. So I want to scroll down and actually take a look at some of the comments, and you can see how many subscribers they've got here. But let's take a look at these 85 comments to see exactly what people are saying about this, because some of these people do have some opinions. Some of them are in the area too. I judge this judge unfit for purpose and guilty of contempt of court. A custodial sentence would be appropriate. Anyone that has served on a jury knows cell phones have to be off in the courtroom. That cell phone was way too distracting for her to be fully dedicated to what was being said. So, conversation aside, 500 text messages. How are you even paying attention to what the attorneys are saying, the questions that they are asking from the witnesses responses? How do you even know what's going on if you're spending your time with these 500 plus text messages? And like this person says here, that cell phone was way too distracting for her to be fully dedicated. How could she be fully dedicated to what was going on? This is infuriating. A young child is beat to death, and the judge can't even manage an ounce of decorum and respect. She should not be a judge. Can you even imagine the number of requests for retrials by those convicted in her court? Exactly. So, and this is why I'm sort of going through these comments, because they're bringing up some other issues that we may want to consider. And in this case, this person points something out that is very important. How many times do we hear about maybe an expert witness that people find out later lied about all of his or her expert background, and then all of the cases that that person testified in, now the people are running back to the court saying, we want a retrial because that expert was not an expert. You can maybe imagine that a number of people who have been in her courtroom probably want to see courtroom video to see if she was paying attention during their trial. And that if by chance, there is a possibility that she was on Facebook or wherever she was texting the bailiff. I don't know how far back they would have to go because, like I said, I think she may have been elected to this particular seat in November. So I don't know how much may be there, but it is a question. Who's going to be asking for a retrial? The things she texts are so disgusting. She needs to be removed immediately. Watch it at times too while skipping ahead 10 seconds at a time, and it still makes sense. In other words, what this person is saying, it's so obviously wrong that she is spending so much time up here that you don't even have to watch it at regular speed. You could watch it fast and nothing changes because it appears that she, still spends a lot of time doing this. I sure hope this is declared a mistrial. How horribly disrespectful. What if anyone else did that in the judge's courtroom? As far as I'm concerned, that's mistrial and have to redone because of this disrespectful judge. Mistrial, there cannot be anything less. This is absurd. Apparently, this is this judge's first ever trial. Not a good way to start. If she can't stay focused during a child murder case, God help her when she gets some tedious financial crimes case. I don't know if this is her first trial. I had not heard that. She sets the bar as low as it can go. I think a number of people would probably agree with you on that. Social media has no limits of the amount of trouble that it can cause. Privacy is protected by law, but social media tests the highest levels of the law. I'd be interested to see what the replies to that one were. LOL, maybe she has a boyfriend. Okay, so I don't think this person actually read what was being texted. Wasn't social media the cause of the trouble of the judge who has no self-control? Okay. Oh, yeah, no problem. A little boy has no right to a happy life. You're free to hold on while I answer this test. What text? What was the charge again? Oh, yeah, you're free to go with time served. Next. Somebody get that blank camera off me. I love the whole part with no dialogue or sound. This should be an automatic mistrial, guilty or not. I think a number of people feel like there was no way she was doing her job here. Integrity, doing the right thing even when you think no one is watching. She messed up as this was unprofessional. But that aside, it isn't clear that her scrolling caused her to make any errors with the case. Let's just hope going forward she gives her full attention to her cases and sets the phone aside for after work. This is a person who's giving her, I think, a little bit more grace here. She was very professional during a case we had in front of her. This was an appeal where a woman had previously pled guilty to killing her son and now wants to put it all on her ex. Lincoln County has lots of problems, apparently. Okay, well, I can skip all that part. But yeah, so apparently this person has appeared before her and thought that she was very professional. She moved the camera so it doesn't show her surfing anymore. Go figure. That was a problem that was brought up in the complaint. So you've been told, hey, judge, you're doing wrong. And your response is, well, let me move the camera so that you don't continue to be able to see me continue to do wrong. That's her answer. Wouldn't this cause this a mistrial because of the judge Tracy Sostrom behavior that she herself did not follow through the strict policy of no cell phones in the courtroom? Okay, so let me talk about the policy of cell phones in the courtroom. Usually that's something that's put in place by the judicial system. So it could be that you walk into one courthouse in one county and they have one set of rules, and you walk into another courthouse in another county in the same state and they have a different set of rules. So typically we're talking about people from outside coming into the courtroom, but in most cases, attorneys and judicial staff are allowed to have their cell phones in the courtroom. I don't know how it is in Oklahoma, but that's how it is in most cases in most of the counties in North Carolina. This one says, I was impartial, not this judge. Yeah, so that was a problem too. So even if you can get over the fact that she was talking about the appearance of the attorneys and the witnesses, talking about their hair and their teeth and the size of their hands, there is other information in the complaint that talks about how she was in support of certain attorneys. It even talks about the kind of jury instructions that she wanted to provide so that she could get a certain outcome. Well, now the judge is supposed to be impartial, and that does not sound like the judge is being impartial. So it's one thing to talk about appearance, it's another thing to then try to sway, because that's what they're saying. Was she trying to sway the outcome of the case? That's entirely different. We have no respect for ourselves or our country. Their wellness protected. The other judges will help her get out of it by telling to claim some sort of addiction to internet. She'll be on treatment while getting paid oodles of money. She'll be back like nothing happened. I would think that would be grounds for mistrial since she was distracted. Even if she would never send those texts, she shouldn't be on the phone all the time. She has to pay attention more than anyone because she's the one who will make rulings on motions or objections. You think? Then there are some people in America who thinks our justice system is not broken and she knew the cameras were there. That's another thing. It's sort of like, so the cameras are there and yet you continue to do what it is you're doing. Talking about dedication, what a real piece of work this judge is. Talk about self-destruction. Suspended. Why hasn't she immediately resigned? Even more reasons to mistrust my government. You know, I don't know that that's the government as a whole. We're sitting there talking about the judge and the bailiff. There, I don't think there have been any more accusations about any of the other judges. So I wouldn't rush to throw them all under the bus. This is wild. She, the judge, belongs in jail. Unbelievable, very unprofessional. She should be fired. Mistrial ahead. I wish I could see the police offer. I wish I could see the police officer she found so handsome as to say she could look at him all day. Again, inappropriate. Lawyers do it also. Yes, they do. I would agree with you. Lawyers do get on their cell phones and text and do all sorts of things during court proceedings. Poor excuse of a judge, shaking my head, mistrial. Judge Soderstrom should be removed from the bench. The problem with this is a lawyer could get a retrial due to this memo's actions. Our legal system is just as absolutely corrupt as the other two systems. The judge and the bailiff needs to be gone. The judge should be disbarred. She is a disgrace. What's the point of making a 50-minute video if you're not adding context, like what she typed at what times, etc.? Rules are not for me. She should be ousted. She should have the decency to resign. Let me go back to the piece about the comment about the video, their 50-minute video. Part of it is, you know, you're seeing what the camera sees, and they may not have all of the information regarding what she was texting. I don't know, but they have to have something because it's in the complaint. And I've written down some of the statements here, and you just heard me go through them. She should have the decency to resign. She obviously isn't fit for her well-paid job. This judge is unfit to serve as a judge. I recommend the state of Oklahoma remove her as a judge, remove her bar license, a $25,000 fine, and 6 months in jail. And then there's some French, which I don't speak. Elect clowns, you get a circus. Why is witness in an orange jumpsuit? I know women can do it all, but multitasking during a trial, come on, girl, you definitely need to reconsider your future endeavors. And this person's like, whoa, I guess that's supposed to be a what? I don't know. But now you've had a chance to look at some of these comments. And I think, what they're really talking about, some of the comments that they're making, especially regarding the retrial and whether or not that's going to happen is a big issue. And this whole idea of just respect, the whole idea of just paying attention and doing your job. I don't think the taxpayers and the residents in Lincoln County, Oklahoma, have paid you to sit on your cell phone and send 500 plus text messages. So we'll see how this goes. I don't know how this is going to end. And I'm actually going to pull up some of the other document filings that have been filed in this case, and we'll go on and see where this ends.